Hi, everyone. Just hopefully a lot of you guys get that notification and you see that we're live. So I'm doing it on Tuesday. I don't usually do it on a Tuesday, but I wanted to because I wanted to invite Ashley from Joyful Noise Learning onto my channel, and Tuesday was the best night for her. So hopefully you guys got this notification and that you guys jump on. I tried to, so I don't know, Ashley, did you see my thumbnail?
Yes.
So I made it kind of a little bit like, you guys click on this. So, not
I know.
clickbait
It's
because
like,
it's,
okay.
yeah, but not clickbaity because we are going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I want people to be like, and click on. So,
Good job.
so before I'm seeing people starting to come on. And so I'm just gonna, if you're watching the replay, awesome, leave comments. I will check on the comments and hit the like button, subscribe if you've never subscribed before. And if you are jumping on, if you can hit the thumbs up button, because what that does is start sending out notifications to everybody who is not on right now, so more people can jump on and hear all the fun things. Feel free to leave comments. I am going to see them on. Oh, already. Anna's on there saying hi. Hi.
Hi, Anna.
And so just keep, leaving the comments. Tell me if I don't know who you are, where you're from, all that fun stuff. So the more the merrier, and ask lots of questions. Even if you don't think they're good questions, ask them anyway, because you're probably not the only one thinking that. Yeah, exactly. The only announcement, because I took a break during the winter December holiday, just because everybody was thinking about, you know, Christmas and Hanukkah and that kind of stuff. And so it's a slow season for us on YouTube in the homeschool niche, because a lot of us are taking breaks from homeschool. But I do have another guest scheduled for February 5th. And that is going to be Sarah Miller with Homeschooling for Him. And she has a really cool curriculum. We're doing a summit together, and we're going to share all her things. But today we have Ashley from Joyful Noise Learning. And those of you that have seen my fun homeschool funny videos with the homeschool, like the different homeschool moms, you probably recognize Ashley.
Oh, you're over
Because
there.
we're friends. I know. It's like, wait. Okay, wait, hold on. Wait, high five.
High five. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. You really recognize Ashley from those videos. And I know I've had Summer on here before. We are all really good friends. So, and we talk all the time. But I did want to have Ashley on here because Ashley, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself, but you are definitely a Charlotte Mason homeschool mom.
Yes, I
So
am.
do you
Hi,
want to tell?
everybody. Thanks
Yay,
for
there's
having me,
people.
Leilani. I'm so excited. So I don't know if I can see the comments. I see a couple down there. Oh, there they are.
Can you
Hello.
see him?
I pulled it up down here on my laptop. So,
Ooh, there's a really
alrighty.
good one. Oh, hey. I'm saying hi to everybody.
Ooh, we've already got questions coming in too. So
Yeah, and that's a really
great.
good question too,
Yeah, that
actually.
is.
Okay.
So yeah, introduce myself. I've been doing YouTube for 4 years now. I'm at Joyful Noise Learning. Um, and I've been homeschooling about 9 years. I'm also a former teacher like Leilani is. Wait, she's over there. Okay. I'm also a former teacher like Leilani was. I did not teach as long as she did, but I have lots of experience teaching here and there in the church, public school, all the things like that. And I have kiddos. Let's see, should I talk about my kiddos? I guess they're 7, 9, and 12 right now.
Right.
So
Very similar to my ages.
yes, and they have a similar interest too. So Minecraft is probably one of the biggest, and the Legos. So
And the
yeah.
Legos, yeah.
Well, on my channel, I like to share about Charlotte Mason inspired homeschool. And I have to put a disclaimer out there. I wouldn't call myself a Charlotte Mason expert. I have been using the method for as long as I have, but there's a lot of Charlotte Mason that I haven't read, but there's a lot that I have read, and I have studied other people who have been experts of her. So I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I'm going to say I'm an enthusiast, and I'm inspired by her. And we're going to talk a lot about that Charlotte Mason stuff as well. So also on my channel, we like to talk about biblical homeschooling and Bible study resources for kids, which is right up Leilani's alley as well. And we want to talk about that with you tonight. So, yeah.
Yay. Okay. So really quick, and I think this goes along with this question right here. Did you see this one? Christmas Tree says, am I the only one who has had a hard time understanding some of the wording used by Charlotte Mason's work? So I thought that was good because I thought that would also give you an opportunity to talk about what Charlotte Mason is for those people that don't know what it is.
Perfect. Okay, excuse me a second. I can't talk while I drink. Give me a second.
Drink break, everybody. Everybody
break.
should have a coffee cup or tea, not coffee.
I'm not having coffee at 9:30, Leilani. Are you having coffee?
No, I have my juice. It's a juice. It's juice.
Your beet juice. Good.
Well, and ginger.
Or ginger.
It's ginger
okay.
tea.
Mine's
with
water
beet
right now.
and lemonade.
Well, that's just as good as water. Okay.
Yeah.
So Charlotte Mason, if you've tried reading her works, you are not the only one who has trouble. I know when I read Charlotte Mason's like exact words, her own books and things, quotes even, it takes a little bit more brain power. So it's not like a pull it up and read it off Instagram and be on my merry way. You really do have to set aside some time to be able to think and absorb it. And you have to read it slowly or just a little bit slower than you would some more modern writing. That being said, she's not hard to understand if you read some of the modern not translations. But there's been a lot of people over the last several decades who have read her and have basically rewritten what she said. And I'll be honest, those are most of the books that I have read. So I've read a portion of her own works, but I have never finished one of her books. Don't tell anybody.
It's okay. I mean, I did the same thing when I first started homeschooling. I literally got all of the Charlotte Mason books that she wrote, like that. It's like first, second, third
home
volume.
education, philosophy education. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to read all of these. And I didn't.
Yeah.
Especially I was so intimidated.
For some of us who are easily distracted, it's hard to get into and easily to be like, okay, I'm bored. I need something different. So Charlotte Mason was an educator and philosopher, I guess education philosopher in the 1800s in Victorian style or Victorian era England. So she actually was never married and had her own children, but she started out as a tutor in a schoolhouse, and then she went on to be an educator of educators. And then from that, it kind of blossomed into her educating parents as well. So she kind of was one of those people who bridged the gap of homeschooling and non-homeschooling, more traditional school. And I thought that was really, really cool. So she fascinated with me with that stuff. So I can get through about 2 pages a day on Charlotte Mason's volumes. Nice. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So also I want to recommend, if you try reading her own volumes, don't read them at bedtime.
You'll fall asleep.
That's probably not the time to read them, or nap time either. So it's like, I don't know, pick your poison. Just read it at a time where you're alert and you can think on it, read it slowly, like you said.
Yeah.
But so she wrote these volumes and she came up with these, what are they called? Principles of education. And that's basically where I have like dug my heels in or whatever, dug my roots in, and is I've pulled those principles that she's talked about and I've just like camped there. That's the phrase I'm looking for. So I've camped on those principles because those principles, they're a lot more easier to chew and to implement and do in your everyday homeschooling education experience. So that, would you like to know some of those principles or where you want to go next? Leilani?
I mean, I guess go for it. Just
okay.
Go for it. Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know if I can do it from memory here. All right. Oh, somebody using Ambleside online.
Oh, you saw that one?
Curriculum. That's great. I did Ambleside for a little bit. They're great and they're free. They're wonderful. So, and that was Jennifer who said that. Awesome. Yes. Age 6. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
so
we have a lot of just people saying hi.
Hello.
Yay.
Hello, everybody. Okay. Sorry, we're getting distracted. Okay. So.
Oh, Ashley, really quick, off
what?
topic.
Yes.
Just read it. It's on the screen.
Oh, Ashley's hair looks pretty. Thank you. I'm having a good hair day. And I cut it off. It was time. Me and Leilani are similar now. We got the.
Yeah, we do the same, but your hair is not.
My hair grew.
It
was even shorter. It's already grown. So it needs to be cut again. But I like
we're
it.
So girl bunny trails. All right.
But, okay, back to the story. Here we go. We're keeping it interesting, guys. we're, we're here for your entertainment as well as your information.
Yeah.
So principles. One of her first ones, which a lot of people know, is all children are born persons. So not to patronize the children and to treat them as just, because this was like in the Victorian era, if you think of the historical version of it, children were to be seen and not heard. They were sent with nannies. There was a lot of times they were not even with your parents, which is so sad if you think about it now, but also very similar to kind of what happens with their kids when they get sent to public school. They're to be, seen and not heard throughout the days while mom and dad go on and do their things. If you know what I'm doing there. Anyway, here's a sad, interesting story. I took my son to the store the other day, and it always fascinates me when I go to the store with my kids during the day and there's like 0 children in the store. You're walking around and I've just got my kids like it's normal, and I'm looking around and it's quiet, and there's like all these adults doing their thing and there's 0 children. It's so weird. Like, I feel like that scene in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang when they walk into the village and then there's no children in the village. Anyway, that's another sidetrack. So children are born persons because we're supposed to be modeling good life skills for them, and they can learn so much more than we really can understand than what some people and teachers may think, or parents, I guess. They're meant to learn a lot of stuff. Their brains, if you look into the cognitive development of kids, their brains are like sponges, is what I say. And they can soak up so much information, and they're going to remember what they're taught, especially from the ages of 3 until 12. Their brains are just at that very, very pliable stage. And then once they start getting into the teenage years, Leilani can talk to you about the middle school brain. She has an amazing video on that. But once they start getting into those years, their brains are a little less pliable, and they're changing into different ways into the more adult brain. And so back to Charlotte Mason style here is to, oh my gosh, I lost it. Okay. Help me, Leilani. Where was I going with that?
Well, I think they're persons. They're people.
Yes.
That was the whole idea.
Thank you. That was my long version of that. So the person's one. Another good thing about I don't have them.
They can think for themselves.
Yes. Yeah. And they can learn, and they can absorb and memorize things really well. So memory work is a big thing with Charlotte Mason. I love, and that's taken from the classical style. So she borrowed a lot. She was a classical teacher, really. So classical and Charlotte Mason style go kind of hand in hand. They're like, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
I'm going to make a video on my real thoughts about classical education.
Oh, yes. You've been talking about that. I've heard you talk about that.
Yeah. I got to put it together. I see a good
question there. Can you pull, it's with Christmas tree again. Pull that one up, and I can talk about that.
Okay. Did you want to finish the principles though?
No, those are my main ones I wanted to talk about, but okay. I don't have the list in front of me, so we'll go into the other things we wanted to get to.
Okay.
As well. But this one's a good one. Okay. Back to the whole, if you don't want to read Charlotte Mason's volumes, what books should you read? Okay. First one is For the Children's Sake by Schaefer Macaulay. I can't remember, her first name's not coming to me right now. Susan, there it is. Susan Schaefer Macaulay wrote For the Children's Sake. It's not as modern. I think it was maybe 1950s was when it was written, but that was the one that I read and was just like, that was what I needed to hear for education for my kids, especially when my kids were younger. It was so good to hear, just let them be kids, get them outside, get them hands-on in the dirt and observing things. We'll talk more about that when we talk about nature study. But For the Children's Sake is my first recommendation. And then the other one, oh my goodness. Let me look up the author of these really quick. Let's see.
I wrote it in the banner.
Perfect. Oh, there it is. For the Children's Sake.
I feel like leaving a link. I don't have a moderator, and so I can't leave a link. So I don't know if she recommends a book, if you don't mind just kind of typing it in the comments. If you don't mind.
See, I gotta find Habits.
Charlotte. Oh, now you're typing.
This is the other book that I was like in love with and I devoured. Okay. So it is Deborah Taylor Hugh wrote Habits. She wrote like she wrote like a shortened version. These are the ones to go read. They're like shortened versions of Charlotte Mason's principles and her volumes. So this one, it looks like it was published in 2015. So it's a whole lot newer. But the first one's called Habits, the Mother's Secret to Success. And that's where she discusses Charlotte Mason's thing about habits, which is amazing. That's the other thing I love about Charlotte Mason is her focus on training the children in habits. So that book was so good. I devoured that one and just like fell in love with it. She has some other ones where it's The Outdoor Life of Children is another one that goes along with that Deborah Howe one. And then she has the last one is The Ideas, which I'm still in the middle of studying that one. But I think I have this habits one and I can throw it up in the comments.
Oh, Anna did that already.
Anna did? Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you, Anna. I've got a link.
The other one was called what?
It is The Outdoor Life. Hold on, it's down here. The Outdoor Life of Children.
Okay.
That was a good one. Those two books really shaped my philosophy and education. So those are the main. There's others, and I can't remember. It's like I think it's the Charlotte Mason Handbook is the other one.
There's the rails.
Oh yes, Laying Down the Rails.
Yes.
That would be the other one. There it is, Laying Down the Rails. And then there's another one. I know what the cover looks like, but I can't think of what it's called. I can't find it. Oh well, that's all right. All right, so that's a good question.
Okay.
And there it is. Charlotte Mason Companion. That was the other one that you'll definitely want to read. That one's 1998. So it's in between the 1950s book and the.
I struggled with Laying Down the Rails too, because I feel like when I read Charlotte Mason quotes, I have to just like chew on them for a while. You know what I mean? Like it's one sentence and then you're like, chew.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So I feel like eventually we're going to need to answer that question that I put.
Yeah.
Or address the question.
Several questions. Let's answer them.
Well, no, the question that I put in my title, like, is Charlotte Mason homeschooling the best method? But not only the best method, but for teaching our kids biblically. Because that's what I put in the title, and we're gonna have to come to that. But I feel like we still have to kind of introduce what it is a little bit, because all these questions are like pouring in, you know.
Yeah, these are good questions, guys.
And we have a really good crowd on too.
Thank you, Anna. Okay. There's some good questions coming in. Okay. I'm trying to think of what else can we talk about with Charlotte Mason. Let me try to summarize.
I put one in there. So
okay,
how do
the
you?
Main points.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to read the.
I see that one. Okay. So the main points, principles from Charlotte Mason, if I could summarize it, that I have taken from those books that I've read, is the living books is the main focus of your education. So it's not that you can't do workbooks. We do workbooks in our house too, but our main focus of our education is the living books. And by living book, that means like a novel, historical fiction is great, or even some older, like written from what's the word? Direct sources. So biographies are great, autobiographies. And like that would be the difference between that and something that paints a picture and puts you into the life of these people, of what was happening in this historical time or in this science activity. You know, we've read books on like biographies of Isaac Newton, which were really fascinating. You just learn about him and his life, and through that you learn about his scientific concepts that he discovered and the things that he wrote. I've learned so much from this. I feel like I've gotten my own education from being a Charlotte Mason style. So living books, I would say, is probably one of the top main things. The next one, is the mother education. So as the teacher, we have to be just enough ahead of our kids in order to teach them. So not that we can't, we're not going to teach them something we don't know. Does that make sense? Because they can learn that from reading their own books. But in order to be well equipped to lead my children, I need to be a step ahead of them. So that means I needed to be pouring it into myself. They need to see that as an adult, I love learning. I love reading. I love discovering new things. I love learning, asking questions from people, or wondering, like being excited and passionate about learning new things in the world. So that's the other thing, is the mother culture thing. And that's what you'll hear. That's a buzzword you'll hear in Charlotte Mason, is mother culture. And that's you taking care of yourself as a person, either spiritually, emotionally, or intellectually, all those ways. And that's something I loved about Charlotte Mason as well. And then one of the other last pillars of Charlotte Mason is the nature study. And she was big on that, like getting outside. And she said that children need to be outside. What did she say? It was like 4 hours a day. And then she said there isn't bad weather, there's just bad clothing. That's not the exact quote. I can't remember what it says exactly, but that's the summary of it.
My gosh.
So, and I realized why she said that, because if she lived in London or England, they're going to be overcast probably 90% of the year. There's going to be raining a bit. It's going to be overcast. They have beautiful green moors and all those things. But if you wait for a perfect sunny day, you're hardly ever going to get outside when you're in London, right?
Right.
So for those of us in the Midwest, we can probably relate to some of that. So we've had a lot of overcast days lately, but we're trying to get outside, and we bundle up, we put our hats on and gloves.
Well, what cracks me up is you're in the Midwest, and here I am in Florida wearing a sweater, and you're like, not.
Oh, it's 40 degrees here. It was a nice day.
It was 71 degrees here.
Are you
I'm wearing a
serious?
sweater. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, side note. Sorry, Bunny Charles.
Side note. That was a good side note. So, but yeah, the nature study. And the one thing she was saying about nature study is, I had the quotes down here, but letting a child be observant, and them, instead of setting them in front of a textbook, making them read a passage and then answer like response questions for it. What are they going to learn from that? Like, this is a butterfly. This is what a butterfly looks like when it's a caterpillar. And then it turns into a butterfly. Like, those textbook dry writing.
Like traditional schooling.
Traditional textbook style.
Yeah.
But what if we went outside and we found a cocoon and we looked at it every single day until it finally, hatches and then turns into a butterfly, and we watch it fly away? What do the kids practice by doing that? They're observing, they're seeing it, they're watching, creation and nature happen right before their eyes. And we even did that. We have found a caterpillar and put it in a little container and watched it turn into a monarch butterfly. It was one of my most favorite nature experiences to do with the kids when they were little. And I will never forget that. I know they won't either. It was just so, so cool. Because butterflies don't come out like a butterfly. They're like all wet and limp, and they have to struggle. So we watched it, struggle to get out of its chrysalis. And then it was like hanging, and I'm like, don't touch it, guys. We're going to watch the process. And then eventually the wings dried out. And then I remember it sitting on the deck ledge, and it's just slowly opening its wings in and out, in and out. And then eventually, and then it went. And then that was it. It was beautiful. Like, where are you going to get that from a video or a textbook? Like, we experienced it like hands-on, and it was with our own eyes. It was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially nowadays, like how often do people get hands-on experience with anything? Everybody's on their phones.
Yep. Videos can be good, I use YouTube for education.
Yeah, I love doing history with YouTube.
Yes.
And then going to a reenactment or going to
or
a
visiting.
place. Yeah. But it's hard to, sometimes the history is good to do with video, I think, because then you see, like, we're doing medieval right now. And I think our curriculum is very Charlotte Mason, because it's real books, and it's like pick and choose, and you kind of develop it yourself. Like, you're a lot of reading, a lot of discussion based, a lot of thinking through things. We use Truth Quest. I'm never giving that one up. Ever. I don't know. Do you know that one?
I love that you love that one. That's so cool.
I know. Well, we did. Okay. So for example, because it's Charlotte Mason. For example, we did, oh my gosh, acquaintance. Aquinas. Oh my gosh. Bacon. Do you know who I'm talking about? Bacon, Thomas.
No.
Oh my
Thomas
God.
Aquinas?
Yes.
I
Is that how
recognize
you say
that.
it?
I don't recognize
And
Bacon.
Roger Bacon. Oh my gosh.
Roger
Now
Bacon.
their names. You
I
guys,
would never forget
they're in
that.
I know they're in the comments going, oh, that's such and such, and they know it. Anyway, so, oh my gosh. Sorry, there's a really funny comment coming up. Don't read it yet until I finish my story.
Okay.
But we're talking about, the Middle Ages and the church, and how the church is getting very political, but they're elevating man to God status. And they're talking about the Greek mindset, and they're talking about how people really just, Aristotle was it. They would quote Aristotle, and he was like the go-to person, and his voice was equal to God's voice. And I think it was Aquinas, Thomas Aquinas. Oh my gosh, I feel like an idiot right now because I can't remember his name. He was the one that started questioning things, and people, and I don't remember who exactly. Wow, we need to go back and reread that. But
you're doing a great narration right now. This is wonderful narration.
Oh, thank you. The support. That's a narration, Charlotte.
Yes, that's.
Need to reread it.
Need to reread it. That's okay if you didn't remember it.
But wow, you are such a supportive Charlotte Mason mom. Thank you. It's like we're role playing now. But that people were being persecuted and punished because they wouldn't follow the word of Aristotle.
Interesting.
And I was like reading.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And I'm like, how often do we do that today with people? We put people up on a pedestal, and their word is equivalent to the word of God. And like, even with Charlotte Mason, for example, right? People can do that. Charlotte Mason, her quotes, she's got amazing quotes, but is it equal to God? Like,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's something be careful with anybody with that, like you were saying. Yeah.
So I don't know, throwing that in there.
Good thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. But there's lots of questions.
Okay.
Wow. And I have my questions. See, I knew this. That's why I didn't give you many questions, because I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah. Should we do this one right here on the screen, or
did we do that? No, we didn't. Okay. Do that one. That's the next one.
Hi, Jen. Right, Jen? Okay. How do you start CM if your kids were previously in private school? Oldest is in middle school. Okay. That's not too hard at all. You basically do the same things you would do for little kids, except you have to make sure they get in their like their writing and their math lessons. So the main thing, we don't do necessarily a Charlotte Mason math style. I haven't figured out how to do that very well. So I needed to pick and choose what I did, because with the time I had, if I had unlimited time, I could probably do CM all the live long day. But we have a lot of activities outside the house during the week, just a disclaimer. So for math, I just have them do a math that is on their level, that matches their style of learning. There's a lot out there. If you want suggestions for math, Leilani and I can give some for you, but
I don't any.
Make sure they have make sure they have some time set aside for math. And then you're going to want you're basically just want to get a book list. You can follow Ambleside online. They're great. And then you have to find what level they're at, really. So like with Charlotte Mason, I know that the thing that really confused me was like the grade level thing. Like, what grade is my child in for Charlotte Mason? And Charlotte Mason doesn't really follow grades. We can talk about forms. I didn't talk about that before.
But I was also going to add to it too, maybe for a kid that's leaving public school and moving, especially since they're older, and moving into that homeschool environment, and the parent wants to do Charlotte Mason, style, maybe there is a middle curriculum that is kind of sort of just to help transition them, to see if they even learn that way.
That's a good idea.
Because like what comes to mind is Apologia, for example. Would you that's not full-blown Charlotte Mason, right?
Like their science in general?
Yeah.
It's not, but it's not bad. It's a very
Right.
good, thorough science curriculum. It's
This,
technically textbook based because
right.
it's giving you snippets, but it's a good one. We've used it before. It's not bad.
Right. But you're doing a lot of reading in the textbook.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, I would think that's a good transitional one.
Yes, I would
Okay.
agree with you on that one. So,
And I
I would also
know
say master books might be too.
that's
which,
what I was just gonna say.
okay, okay. I don't love master books, but they are kind of a good starter curriculum, like Leilani's saying. So, if you need something to kind of just get your feet wet, then I would say you can start there, but I wouldn't plan to camp there.
Master
'cause
books is
I
really
I'm pulled
strong
away.
in their science.
Yeah,
I will say that. And I'm
they very
finding
much so.
out, I'm going to make a video, like, because I made a video where I was talking about master books because we didn't have much success with the language arts and the math curriculum at the time.
Mhm.
And I understand master books added some stuff to the math curriculum, make it better.
That's good.
I
Yeah,
don't,
because when I was
that's what I
using it,
heard.
it's really good for early math. It was good. We used it for first grade, I think first grade,
Right. But I
and
think
then
their
third, fourth, fifth. But
strongest,
then
yeah, their
sorry,
strongest point is science.
is science. Okay,
And that's because it's Ken Ham's primary, actually his exclusive publishing company. Like
cool.
he's connected with them. And so when Ken Ham got involved, he's bringing in all these other scientists to write for them
That's awesome.
that are not just answers in Genesis people. They're all
Yeah.
over. Like he's just bringing them in. And so that's why master books, I feel like their strong point is science.
Cool. Cool.
I'm now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And for
I've learned a lot.
the language arts / history, you can really easily do those together. And Bible, like language arts, history, Bible, kind of go bloop.
For Charlotte Mason.
And like Sunlight does a really good job with that one.
Is Sunlight Charlotte Mason? No, that's transitional. You would say transitional.
It would be transitional, yes.
Yeah.
Because they're very heavy on I don't do this at all. They're very heavy on the like review questions, like or comprehension questions. That's what they are.
Now, Charlotte Mason, that you don't test. Do you do
No.
testing? Just the narration.
You do exams. That's another part of Charlotte. You do an exam, but it's not like handing them a multiple choice test paper, having them write an essay really, but they focus on you because you're looking for understanding. You're not looking for a kid to know how to do a test, like and rote knowledge. You don't want them to be able to answer the question and then forget it.
Right.
Because how many of us who may have gone to public school studied for the test,
and then we forget everything.
And then you forget everything. How many times do we do that? A lot. Did you do that too? Okay, yes. We all did that. So the point of Charlotte Mason, which makes her the best, the point is you're studying for understanding, and you're studying to, grow as a person and to be able to, see the world in a healthy way and to be able to interact with other people. Educated or non-educated people, and to know your creator. And that's one of the things we haven't hit on yet that we're trying to get to.
Right. We're going to get to the...
Mason, she did say that all education is divine, and that it's not, or let's say, she says that all education springs from and resting upon our relation to Almighty God. We do not merely give a religious education because that would seem to imply the possibility of some other education like secular, but she's saying, God is created.
Wait, go back and say that again.
It's what's kind of, I can read the whole quote if you want the whole context. Are you ready?
Okay.
It's kind of a long one, but if you
I'm
guys
ready
want
to chew.
Here it comes. We're going to chew on this tonight, ladies. Here we go.
Not the whole night.
Okay. The idea of all education springing from and resting upon our relation to Almighty God. We do not merely give a religious education because that would seem to imply the possibility of other education, a secular education, for example. But we hold that all education is divine, that every good gift of knowledge and insight comes from above. So, do we have a Bible curriculum and a science curriculum? Or do we have a Bible curriculum and language arts? Like, are these separate things? Or is everything our language arts?
That's what she means. Okay.
Are they all pointing us to the Almighty God and drawing us closer to Him?
So when she
every
says
subject.
So
What?
when she says that whole thing about we don't have a religious curriculum, do you know what I'm talking about? It's in the middle.
Yes, that one was kind of tricky because I had to read that a few times to get it, but she's saying like a secular education. So she's saying, which in her day, I
That's,
think,
yeah, context.
yeah, in her day, they didn't have like secular school. Like, does that make sense? The
Yeah.
religion, the Church of England, the, religion was kind of all encompassing.
The
There
church
wasn't
was in charge of
separation of church and state.
education. Right.
So today we have a very secular education route,
Right.
like with public schools and such. So so it's easy. People think, oh, I studied the Bible in my Sunday school and then I studied my history over here. But
So they're separating them out, is what she's saying during her time.
Or she's saying not to do that.
Right, not to do it, but
Mhm.
but the schools were doing that.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Because they have different time frame, different context.
So yes, yeah, it's a good quote. I'll leave it there. But I realized that was one of the reasons that I was drawn to Charlotte Mason, was because of her foundation in the Lord, in seeking the Lord, in the Bible, and having a foundation in God's word. Because part of your reading assignments are going to be reading scripture, and you read through the whole Old Testament in one year, and then you read the New Testament the other year. So you're always constantly studying, and you're using the Bible for copy work, and you're using the Bible for memory work, and you're using it for language arts. And I'll be honest, I'm very thankful I had the education I did, because I was fascinated with Bible at a young age. And I learned, I don't know how this worked out. I do love language arts, and I love reading. I love looking at words and structure, and how does this word relate to this word, and what is this meaning here? I did that kind of naturally, but I might have learned that, I think, from doing my Bible study. And I wanted to know what it said. And the more I studied the meaning of words or even some of the original languages, it just came alive to me. It was really cool. And then I could even apply that in my English classes. And there was a couple English classes where we did study the Bible, like literature, like we're reading the Bible as literature, because that's what it is. It's a book, it's words, but it's not like literature, like I'm going to pick up the Hunger Games and read the Hunger Games, which I don't know if I would consider that literature, but you know what I mean?
Because you taught high school language arts, right?
I taught, what did I teach? 8th grade language arts, and then 5th grade. So I did. I got my education degree for high school language arts, but I didn't get the opportunity to do it. So
yeah, because I remember in the public school we had to get the Bible and the Greek mythology book to read as literature, but it was read as fictional literature.
Yes,
that's how they presented it.
Yes,
and that bothered me a lot, even though I wasn't a believer.
Well, when I did that part for my class in college, I read it as literature, but not fiction. I don't know. It's hard to explain, because if you look at the Bible, there are poetry books, and poetry is not necessarily, there are historical books, there are letters, so some of them are fiction, or not fiction. Does that make sense?
It's poetic. It's poetry. It's a book with words. It just so happens to be the word of God, and it's foundational, and it's infallible. Did I say that right? Yeah. And there's nothing that competes with it, but it's still a book with words in it.
Yes.
That's what you mean by literature.
Yes, that's what I mean.
I think
there's ways to read literature, because you need to learn how to, in order to read the Bible. Sorry guys, we didn't mean to go into a lesson on how to read the Bible live, but we're both passionate about this, so you're along for the ride.
I never get to talk about it. I'm always scared to talk about it. I should talk about it.
Are you okay? We're doing it.
Yeah, I'm fine, because I'm with somebody else. And coming from the Hebraic perspective, instead of like taking our culture and shoving it into the Bible, but taking their culture and context.
Yes.
Yeah. The author's intent.
Yes, exactly. Which is how you learn to read literature as well. Like, what was the author saying here?
Yeah, like patterns with reading, like the parallels.
Yes. Oh, I love looking at parallels, or repeated words.
Yeah, like holy, holy, holy. Yeah, like so understanding good. That's like holy, holy, holy would be like italics. Anyway, sorry.
Okay,
I note how to read things.
All right, that's our next video. Okay, let's get back to other Charlotte Mason stuff too. Does anybody have other questions?
There's lots of questions. Okay, so, oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm sorry, I have my questions too. There was this one. She was talking about nature study. Not sure if I'm doing nature study the right way, but my son takes paper, colored pencils outside and draws what he sees. I don't think that, is there a wrong way to do nature study?
Nope. Okay, one of the things with nature study, I have a video on my channel all about it. I was just watching it today to get some refreshing. So I have a few videos on my channel. Leilani and I did one together about how Charlotte Mason am I. That's a good one.
Oh,
to
mine's
watch.
like a quiz.
Yeah, that one was fun. Mine was like, I gave myself a score for each of these Charlotte Mason topics. That was a good one. We both did that. And then I did several other videos explaining some of the main concepts, like living books, the nature study, the Bible, the biblical education. And then there's one more, and I can't think of what it is, but you can go search my channel and just type in Charlotte Mason.
I feel like
so nature study is so good. There's a lot. It depends on how deep you want to go. And that's what I've learned with all these concepts of Charlotte Mason. You're going to pick one thing each year and focus on getting better at that. And then you're going to grow on it the next year. So you can see other people who are like stellar at these nature studies. They get all the books out. They have all the feathers everywhere. They're drawing amazing samples and everything. And then there's the people who don't draw at all and just go to a creek or maybe a tide pool and just let their kids play in the tide pool and pull out what they find. And that's the main poetry. Thing. Or there's people who don't go outside and they just read nature poetry. Yeah. So that's a nature study. Some people don't prefer outside. What?
Or go outside and write poetry.
Or go outside and write poetry. Yeah.
Or journal things. Yeah.
Or journaling. That's right. It doesn't. If you have a child who loves the drawing, then yes, excuse me. Yes, have them do that. My oldest was exactly that. She loves nature and she loves drawing. So that kind of nature study just came supernatural to her. Super naturally to her. Very naturally. There we go. Not supernatural, maybe it's from
like
the
two
Lord,
separate words. Not supernatural.
Two separate words. Sorry, it wasn't supernatural.
Natural. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it is. Maybe God gave her that gift and she's using it. But my second child, it was not the story. He does not like drawing. He's getting better at it now. He's more willing to do it now. But he did not love just sitting out in nature and drawing what he saw. He preferred
boys are harder.
Yeah. Well, some boys do enjoy drawing, but some don't. And I noticed that he just liked just getting out in nature and just going and exploring, looking under rocks, finding bugs, and that's really all I would do with him is we would go on nature walks and there's no agenda. We just walk somewhere and we look and we observe. Well, like, wow, look at this little creek right here. I wonder what happens if I throw a stick in it. What does that stick do? Or, oh, look over here. There's we see like crawdads. We see tadpoles. We love looking at tadpoles. So
it's kind of like going out into nature and expressing your love for nature in the best way that you know how, like your giftings.
Yes.
So if you're an artist, you draw. If you're a scientist, you're going to experiment. If you're, a sports player, you're going to run and splash and all the things. If you're a writer, you're going to write about it. If you're a photographer, you can take pictures about it on it.
Yes.
It's almost like a way of just getting with God's creation and expressing yourself or expressing, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just, there's nature, I'm out in nature and I'm going to express myself.
Well, it's not just about yourself either. It's you.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yes. Yeah. It's not just about how you express it, but I see what you're saying though. You're observing the nature.
Yes.
And then you're recording it or experiencing it in the way that you are gifted or best.
That is a good correction. It's not expressing yourself because it doesn't come from within. It comes from the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
thank you.
But it doesn't mean you can't make your kid try it. So I've made my younger kiddos draw sometimes. I'm like, you can do it. It's not a big deal. Do your best. And I think part of it was my oldest was so good at it that the second child felt like he had to be as good as her, and he wasn't. And I keep trying to tell him, you do your best. You're not going to do her best. It's just do your best. I also, to help him, I also pulled up, I brought books from the library on how to draw. And we did some videos, tutorials on just some basic drawings. So we did some leaf drawings. Those are pretty simple and whatnot. So that's how we did nature study with my non-drawer. What's this one saying? I can't read it.
No, wait, go back to this one. I liked this one. It said, can we practice? Yes.
Let's.
Every day.
Deb. Good idea, Deb.
Yeah. And then Jennifer says we did spider observations.
Yay. Those are fun. Those are good.
And then you read Charlotte's Web.
Perfect. That's totally Charlotte Mason.
And so Deb writes, I'm serious, it's probably the bear hibernation inspiration. I definitely found myself moving towards more Charlotte Mason style using apologia science. And that was before I heard the name Charlotte.
Awesome.
Master books for math and language arts right now. Won't be camping there for sure. I struggle because I really like their science. I really do. I'm just going to say positive things.
Yes.
Their science, and then their...
Oh, Summer made it. Summer said hi. Is she
Summer says hi?
I don't know.
I was going to say, oh my gosh, I almost want to invite Summer to... Summer can come if she wants to join us. Is that okay with you? I found out that I have an invite button. I can invite people.
Oh, you can?
I can invite up to 6 people.
What else?
Anyway.
Any more questions?
Yes.
Oh, Anna had to leave. Sorry, Anna. Yeah. I'm just seeing that now.
There we go. Okay, we use Masterbooks Math and Language Arts for 4 years, and then their History and Science for 4 years. We switched Math and Language Arts this year because they were still lost with concepts. They're really good at science.
Let's see. Hold on a second. We switched with math in LA. Okay, yeah.
But we love history and science. And you know what? I just started using their history this year because somebody said that their history is good. So,
yeah.
The history and science.
I've heard good. So, language arts is tough. Language arts is tough. But the main thing for Charlotte Mason is to be patient with it because you have them read. You make sure you teach them how to read. So you use a phonics curriculum, get them reading. And once they're reading, then you get them good books. And then every time they read, you have them narrate. And you start out orally, having them tell back to you what they read. And then as they get into the middle school or upper elementary age, they can start writing those narrations. And then eventually that will turn into longer papers and whatnot. So, but I tried that for the last 9 years. But this year I pulled in IEW to try to learn some of that structure. Yes, I never wanted to use IEW. It looked way too structured, and I hated it for a long time. But I realized I was an English teacher too, and I just realized I did not learn how to teach how to write. I can write specifically myself. I just don't know how to get that knowledge of how to onto my children. I was really struggling.
I can talk about IEW all day. I love it because it's very structured and it's just
and some people just need that. Yeah. And I realized
if you look at it,
I don't know how to teach this. What?
If you look at IEW, it's a tool. That's how you use it. It's not like they're learning how to write and they're going to write all these essays and No, IEW is a tool to help you so you can write those amazing essays in your history class and your science class and your language arts class,
Yes. And I've really loved it this year. My oldest, my 6th grader and my 4th grader have been using it, and I've seen a very big difference. So we do mostly oral narrations still just because it's quicker and easier for me. But my goal is to use IEW for a year or 2. And then we're going to try to go into using it on our own and going back to the written narrations. That's my goal. So you don't have to use it every time, but every year. And I noticed, because it doesn't really teach creative writing. So if you have someone who's interested in creative writing, but
it's a tool.
I know. But the skills and the tools that she's learning now, she'll be able to apply to creative writing. Yes. But there are some creative writing parts that are not necessarily being taught that we've been finding in IEW, but that I want to, like, I don't know how to like character development, stuff like that, but but IEW is very good for the nonfiction writing. Very, very good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we jumped into that.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, for fiction too, there's some stuff in there where you tell stories, like fictional stories.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I love IEW.
Christmas Tree says we should collaborate and do a virtual homeschool moms conference. I know.
I need to learn how to do this. I'm doing 2 summits that I know of so far this year.
We need to do an in-person one.
I don't know how to set that up.
We just find a location. We tell all the people who are watching that we're doing it and say, hey, meet us here at this time. And boom, we
did that tonight.
See?
I mean, I don't know. I just don't know, because there's a way to set them up. I don't know. We'll talk privately.
We'll talk later.
My dream, can I just throw in my dream? My dream.
Yes, what's your dream?
Is to do a homeschool mom retreat encouragement thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's a retreat,
mm-hmm.
but it's homeschool moms, and it includes, anyone who wants to, like, speakers, but
mm-hmm.
it's not about selling your item. Because I feel like at the homeschool convention, there's too much selling. And I don't know who's going to bite for that one. I almost want like a rest and relax thing.
Yes.
And just be able to like actually sit with influencers and knowledgeable people and have real conversations.
Yes.
That's what I want. I don't even want speaking engagements. I want to sit with someone like Ginger Hubbard and just have a real conversation with them. You know what I mean? Like, that's my dream.
I can picture like a lodge somewhere with some couches and just hanging out with our blankets and our tea and just chatting.
And praying together.
And then we pray together.
I would love to pray together. And then fall asleep on the couch if we feel like it.
And I can bring my guitar. We could do worship too. Okay.
That's kind of like, and then like, I know children, I don't know. That's something that I would love to do one day. I just feel like I feel like it's great. There's a place for selling things, but I just want to have conversations with people who've been there and done that we are like, a lot of us like look up to and respect.
Yeah.
So
we should tell everybody, if they want that conference, they need to leave in the comments.
Yeah, they're all going to be like, yes.
Leave it in the comments if you want to come to our conference. Wait, it's not a conference. We need to call it something else.
I told Retreat. Katie, Life in the Mundane, that is my dream.
Homeschool mom rest and restore retreat.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a name. If you got name ideas, put those in the comments too. We need some ideas.
So, yeah, I don't know. The women only.
Asked another one.
No men. Sorry. No
Sunlight
man.
Or My Father's World? She asked.
Wait,
which one?
Sunlight or My Father's World? I don't really.
Okay, what age? What age do you have again, Christmas Tree? What age?
That's a hard one, because I never used either one of those. Where are you? I can't find her.
I don't know. It popped up on mine.
Well, I skipped a bunch of questions. I have to go back and look at those. Sunlight or My Father's World. Sorry to ask so many questions. It's just so nice to have. Yay! Okay, sorry. I feel like we're driving people crazy because we keep doing bunny trails.
I think they're here for it. So give us a bunny emoji in the comments if you're here for the bunny trails.
No, I don't know. I like this community. I like to have that opportunity to chat with other people. I like to be around adults sometimes. To say, please, like, understand. You do understand. Yes. I can't pick.
Sunlight or My Father's World. Okay, let me answer this question.
They're so different.
My Father's World for kinder, first and second. Wonderful. Wonderful. I don't know what Sunlight does for that age. No, that is not true. I used it for first grade.
I just hear so many success. I've never used both of them. I love My Father's World because it goes into the Hebraic stuff with the different, like, it teaches you like biblical, like not
Yes.
just, but just like more Hebrew stuff, like the months. I'm trying to explain, like the high
They're here for the bunny
holidays.
trails. Sorry, there's bunny trails popping. There's bunnies popping.
There's are they? I'm still like, yeah, bunny, bunny, bunny.
Yes. They're
Oh
here
my
for the
gosh,
bunny
that reminded
trails.
me of Veggie Tales. No,
Okay. Wait,
that's a bunny
Leilani,
trail.
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Where were you saying?
I was just saying, I can't. I like My Father's World because it talks about the high holidays, but I don't know if Sunlight does.
Okay.
So
I don't know either.
I don't
Okay.
really. I just hear success on both.
My experience
Go,
with
you
both
go.
of those was they're both very good. I think, like I said, I think I would lean towards My Father's World for younger years and Sunlight for older years. That's probably how I would do it. But I also felt my experience was they have the grid where you have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, history, science, language arts, and then you plug it in and then you have what you do. So they had these grids for what you did every day. And I felt confined by those grids. And if I got off, which happened every week, like there was never a week where I followed exactly with every single square in those boxes with my children. And I felt, once I got off, I felt discouraged and like I was a bad homeschool mom and I couldn't do it anymore, blah, blah, blah. So I got to a point where I just looked at the book list and I picked the books that we were supposed to read and I read the book. Sometimes we read more than what was on that little square that day. And sometimes we didn't read as much, and we didn't finish it in exact right time as those little grids. So I didn't really like the grids for My Father's World or Sunlight. Some people might like them and you guys do well with them. That's great. But for me, the grids were they were confining too much.
No, wait. But Sunlight isn't Charlotte Mason. They're a transitional type thing.
Yes. I know. Yes, that's right. We were supposed to talk about that. They have very good books. They have very good books, but then they pile on top of reading the books a bunch of extra work. So some of those kids like that. Maybe your kid likes that extra work. Maybe they don't mind answering worksheets and stuff like that. My kids did not like them and I didn't really like them. So we just stuck with narrating after we read the book.
Yeah.
So they have like your stack of books and then they have this like stack of like workbook that goes along with the book. So it's some people, you might use it that first year, see how it goes. But their book lists are incredible. I pull from their book lists every year, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, they have a good book list. I had a conversation with the author of the Life of Fred books, and he made me very aware of how the public schools are separating the subjects and how I believe that it was a wrong thing to do. And I agree. I love that series, Life of Fred.
I love Life of Fred.
It's such a
that's
good
very
complimentary.
Charlotte Mason. I would say that's a Charlotte Mason math.
Yeah.
We got off of it. We read all the way through the elementary version. We're on the middle school level now, and I slowed down, but it was so good. We loved it.
Yeah, I'm flipping through the comments. But I feel like for me, because of the way our world and our society, especially if someone wants to be an engineer, they need to be doing like other maths, not just Life of Fred. That's just my opinion.
Yes. If they don't want to be an engineer, Life of Fred is good. They need to know their math facts and Life of Fred, and they should be fine.
Yeah. I love Life. I had so much fun.
Oh, Ashley. Hello.
Yeah, I love her. And I still want Ashley to come on.
Sorry, I didn't see your comment earlier. Sorry, Ashley. You're probably
So I've been at a line dancing class. Sweet. I'm so glad I'm getting to watch some of this.
Yay.
That sounds like fun.
All right, we've been talking an hour, Leilani.
I know, that's normal.
Probably wrap it up.
I know. Okay, I'm going through them. All right, hold on. Okay, see, I'm saying hold on, but I'm making a text message.
You're making a text message?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay, tell me.
All right. Pulled in Fix It Grammar and I love Fix It Grammar.
Yes.
Started IEW and MCT Grammar this year, and we love both. Yay. Retreat. Yes to Homeschool Retreat. We're going to use IEW next year. It's not Charlotte Mason, but I love it. And I love Andrew Pudois. Can I say he's my friend now?
Yes, you can.
He is my friend now.
That's amazing.
I've had 3 conversations. But now he's literally, he didn't say this on it when I was on his podcast. You know what he said to me, like off record? He was like, Leilani, I've been watching your channel. We have so much in common. You don't even realize it. I was like,
he's your friend.
He's my
friend. That's awesome.
I have too many
so
cool
happy
friends.
For you.
Ashley, I know.
He's hilarious. I
love it. He's like grandpa. Like,
yeah.
He's so cool. But because I love IGW, it's the same, it's Suzuki method, which is a music method. And it's,
yes,
you know, if you're musically,
yeah,
you know it?
Yes.
Okay.
For violin.
Yeah,
yes.
if we either love it or hate it.
I hated it. It did not fit my personality.
Come on, I'm telling her to check her.
Oh, you're trying to get Summer on for a little finale.
Sorry, I can't say what she's saying. I'm just texting her and she's gonna send laughing emojis. Okay. All right. I don't think she's gonna come on.
Ashley wants, oh wait, there's a ton here that just loaded for me.
Holy I know. Lots of bunnies. 7 years. Okay, she tells you her ages: 7 years, 5 years, and 4 years. So you were saying.
She's got younger kids. Okay.
My Father's World.
So My Father's World. Yep.
Sunlight's good. It's so hard.
Sunlight's good too. You can't go wrong with either of those. Sunlight would be good for first year for younger kids too. 4-year-old, you don't need curriculum. So watch my Charlotte Mason early years video, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm. Language lessons for today.
Which language lessons? That's is that Master Books?
No. This is My Father's World.
My Father's World language lessons for today. Oh, I don't know that one. I can't speak to that one then.
Okay, hearing this discussion. Oh wait. Boom. Hearing this discussion, I can see how Thomas Jefferson education is not exactly the same. No, it's not.
I don't know.
Charlotte Mason, but it does have some comparisons because it's the classical.
Oh, yes.
You know what book I'm about to read? I just ordered it. I gotta find the name. Because I was talking to someone today about that very topic, about Thomas Jefferson education. She's going to come on too. She's brilliant. Eventually, she's going to.
You should subscribe. So when she does that video.
Yeah, she ran a homeschool co-op in Florida and does pretty much everything. And she's brilliant. She's like, did you know the reason 18 is like the adult age? It was for military purposes. Because testosterone in boys is highest between 18 and 25. So the military wanted boys at that age because they wouldn't be afraid to put themselves up front and take risk. So they made 18 legal
adult age.
Mm-hmm. Didn't know that. So, and she gave me references. And so I'm like, that's cool to know. Nice. Because then it makes you go, well, why do I have to kick my kid out at 18 then? Because brain doesn't really develop until, for boys, the frontal lobe doesn't develop until 25.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we kicking them out again at 18? Don't know.
I don't know.
So anyway, side note. Oh, yeah. Okay. Everybody wants to come. I'm going to have to do this now.
Did you see Yolandi's? Yes, I was just looking at that.
There we go.
Okay.
That was my, I shouldn't say, we might be related because. Brewer.
Cool.
Was my maiden name.
Oh. Is CM
Charlotte
everything basically language arts except for math? We are very much traditional schooling right now. So how could I help my children switch over to writing about everything? How do you make it fun? Okay, good question. We don't write about everything. I do that's more, are your kids, I bet they're younger. It's my guess. If they're older, let me know. You do a lot more writing in Charlotte Mason style in middle school and high school age. In elementary, it's not a huge focus. For your writing in elementary, you want to do lots of copy work. Yes, they can write and journal, if they want to write from their own. Sorry, I'm knocking my treadmill. My tripod. If you want to have them write their own thoughts and stuff, that's okay, but you want to have them say it first. So because when the elementary age, have to do three things. They have to think about how to form the letters, like with their hands, and they're having to think how to write, and like they're thinking about grammar and spelling. So that's a lot to think about that they've kind of just all been learning in elementary. So you don't necessarily have to write as a narration. Does that make sense? When I say do a narration, it doesn't have to be written, and they don't always have to write it. So what I do with my younger kids is they say it to me, and then if I want them to practice writing, we don't practice writing for every narration, like I said, but every once in a while we'll do a practice written narration. We will practice writing. They say it to me, and I write it down or type it, and then they copy it. Does that make sense? So let's see, how can I help my children switch from writing about everything? How do you make it fun? So yeah, the way I make it fun is I don't do the writing for everything. That's the main thing. The other thing is they don't mind doing the oral one. They just tell me what they read, and they don't mind that at all. Another thing I do, I have a child who struggles with the physical act of writing. He also struggles with spelling as well, and we're working on it. But his verbal skills, very good. His vocabulary is incredible. He can speak super well. So he has very good thoughts. He's very good speaking, but the actual writing is not his thing. So I let him do speak to text on the computer. So we open up a Google Doc, and I put, you open up the speak to text, what do you call it? Tool. And then he just says what he wants to say, and it types it for him on the screen. So that's how that son does a written narration. So that's a way to like make it fun. I don't know. I guess it's kind of fun for him because he's using the computer. He also, he is learning typing to be able to type his narrations, but he's still learning that too. That's still a struggle. So he does a lot of speak to text stuff. And then for making it fun, you could do drawing narrations. If you have a child that likes to draw, that would be perfect for younger kids or older kids too. And really a narration could be anything. They could make a video. Maybe they decide to make a video. You learn about Joan of Arc, and you have a kid who loves acting. So then he writes a play, they write, or she, whatever, he or she writes a play, or they get their brothers and sisters and they create a video and talk about it there. Or they could do, maybe you have a crafty child and they make a diorama of a castle, and then they build a catapult. It's just any way to show what they have learned, and you can totally make it fun and not have it just be writing all the time. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I added this comment. I threw it up because it kind of played off of what you're saying.
Do you have a good recommendation for how to get started with narration? Any mom books to read about it? Yes. Know and Tell. It's Know, Know and Tell by Karen Glass. To be honest, I haven't completely finished it yet, but I read the first half. And actually, it's written by like levels. So it gives you like an overview of what narration is, and then it tells you what to do for a certain age. So my kids are not in the higher level yet. So I've just kind of stopped where the level they're at, and we're trying to implement that now. So that one, I actually wanted to do a video on that, or like a series, what I learned about narration from that. Because I really struggled with narration for the first several years, but I've learned that you just do something. Like you just start and do something. It just consistent every day. Your child reads a book, or the way I started. Here's how I started. Any mom can do this. You read a book with the kids, whether it's a read aloud, like maybe you're reading Charlotte's Web, or maybe you're reading Wing Feather Saga, or what's something else that's kind of simple? Not Lord of the Rings. So, we did read Lord of the Rings, but that's for older kids usually. You guys did it too, right?
Oh,
we did The Hobbit.
I did. The last one's very difficult to get through.
Yeah, we just finished The Hobbit, or Little Pilgrim's Progress. Anyway, you read a book with the kids, whether it's a big chapter book that you're reading, or if it's a picture book, you could do it with picture books. You read a book with the kids, and then the very end, you ask them, what do you remember from what we just read? You could ask them that. Or you could ask, you could say, tell me what you learned. But even when you say what you learned, that's still kind of like an abstract like thought. You're welcome, Emily. But even like saying, what did you learn? That's still kind of like I don't know, what did I learn? Like they don't know what they learned. They're going to tell you what they remember though. So you can say, hey, what do you remember from this paragraph about Joan of Arc? And then they'll be like, oh, it was blah, 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 and blah, 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 you know? And it may not be all the details that you remember. And that's the part where I have struggled. That's another part is you don't say, oh, but what about blah, blah, blah. Or you don't ask them leading questions too much because you're trying to figure out what they remember, not what you remember. You're not giving their narration. They're giving the narration.
Right.
So all you do is you read the book. And if it's a bigger book, after a page, you ask them, hey, what happened in this part here? Or you could ask them, like, why do you think Lucy went through the wardrobe and came back and was angry at Edmund? You know, you could ask a question like that too when you're reading fiction. That's a lot more fun. But anyway, does that help? So there you go.
Yeah, we still have a lot of questions. So I'm giving you a heads up.
Okay.
So ladies, I'm so glad you got together to talk Charlotte Mason. Our family struggles with all the listening to reading. What are your tips to help kids? My kids love to talk and play and miss so much from the books.
Ooh.
Now, I just want to point out that we have not gotten to my questions. I almost feel like we have to do this again.
I know, we might have to do part 2. We can do it.
And with Summer.
Let's do part 2. Let's do it. Okay. So for reading with the kids, okay. It sounds like you have smaller kids too. First off, your kids might be catching more than you think. Even though they're being active and playing, they're listening, they're hearing it. I have some active kiddos that don't always sit still. I have one child, when he does math, he paces or he stands up on his chair, and I just let him do it. It happens. But anyway, that's math. So for when I'm reading to them, I make sure they get something to do with their hands. So what you need to do is go watch Leilani's video on, what was that video you did with the kids where you're reading aloud to them? Like, this is what happens during read alouds. Real life read alouds. That was from like 2 years ago. It was
it was an old one. It was in my old house. Like it was like
hilarious.
3 years ago.
So you got to go watch that video with Leilani. It was funny. I liked it.
Oh my gosh, Ashley, you have to link all your videos because I'm not going to keep track. We're going to have to
okay.
When we get a chance, we need to go back to this video in the comment section and just link videos.
Or you can put it in the description afterwards.
I'm not going to remember which videos.
Or I'll send you
I'm not going to remember your videos.
Put it in the description.
Yeah. Wait, did you give tips for
No,
kids?
I didn't finish that. I was going to finish that one.
Sorry.
Okay. So the talking and playing, that just, you need to build their listening muscle. So you're going to start short periods, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Start read to them for 5 minutes. Let them sit, play quietly. They don't have to, because really when you're reading aloud, you don't picture the kids just sitting there staring at mommy while she's reading.
As nice as that would be.
Never realistic. Never realistic, ever. Maybe for older kids, they usually have longer attention spans. But even my 12-year-old, she still draws while she listens. She never just sits. She's always drawing. So I let my kids draw on the iPad. I let them draw on a notebook. I let them color. I let them sometimes play with Legos.
Those are so loud.
It's too loud. So if they have like Legos that are already built and they're playing with them, that's fine. But if they're in like the middle trying to dig through the Legos and build, that doesn't go as well. But my son, anyway, that's a sign. But yeah, get out things that they can, Play-Doh if you have little kids, snacks. You need snacks. Okay.
That's a good bribe. They keep their mouth shut too.
Yes. Somebody put in the comments, oh, this is why I can't see everything. It says top chat. I need live chat. There we go. Now we can
here's this one. My daughter chose to use sunlight for a few years, but would read the entire book in one setting as it would bother her not complete it and spread the reading over several weeks.
Okay.
So everybody's like, yay for the retreat.
Is that a bad thing?
This is just a lot of statements. We love language lessons for today. And then here, she has an 11-year-old and younger doing Abeka. Abeka is very different than Charlotte Mason.
Yes. Yes. Abeka would probably be, it can work for some people. I'll just say that. But it's more traditional and it's not very Charlotte Mason. It's okay to start with. I know a lot of homeschoolers start with it. Starting with it's okay. But if you want to move out of it, then I say move out of it eventually. So.
Yeah. A lot of these are like, I agree. Yeah, because everybody learns differently and everybody teaches differently too. Yeah. That's another thing. And if Becca works for you, like, great.
Yes.
As long as it's actually working for you. Like, if you're not happy with it, don't feel like you have to keep plugging through it.
Yes.
Because Becca's intense.
Yes.
And is it meeting your goals as a homeschool family? That's another thing. Like, when you do any of these methods, you have to meet your homeschool goals.
Yes.
Because some
you have
people
to look
like,
at your. Go on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was gonna say, some people are like, well, everybody else uses it, and I'm just gonna compromise and do it, even though it's not what I really want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I hear that all the time.
Yeah. I did a Becca in Christian school when I was a kid. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Oh man.
I see, this is where I get transparent. This lady's not listening, I'm sure. I had a friend, and believe it or not, I used to feel very competitive with her because our kids were the same age and her kids were so well behaved. And mine are it's not that they're not behaved, they just like to explore a little bit more and ask more questions. And that can sometimes drive people crazy. But I always used to look at her kids and compare them to my kids. And she used a Becca. And I would be like, it's because I'm not using a Becca. And so I went through this phase. It was when Isaac was first grade. He's now 13, so it's been a while. But I just used to look at them, and to me, they were like the perfect family. They were so smart, and their daughter was so you know what I mean? In my mind, they used Becca, and so she would actually give me all her old Becca curriculum. And so I remember I'm like, I'm going to help my kids read with this Becca book. And we did. And I was not a fan. And I was really pushing myself to do it because I was trying to constantly, she was like this pedestal.
Just try to keep up with her. When you did that in first grade for Isaac?
A Becca. Just the readers. Just the readers.
Oh, just the readers. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I did other stuff with him.
I remember those readers. I remember them.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm a middle school teacher. I was a middle school teacher. I my sort of certifications K through 6 elementary, but I taught middle school.
Okay.
And all my experiences with middle school, even though that's my certification, doesn't mean that I know anything with that age. I mean, I do, but you know what I mean? It's the experience is with middle school. So doing those early elementary years, I was kind of lost. Yeah.
Same with me.
And now that all my kids, I mean, I have a 3rd and 5th grader, but I feel like they're moving out of that stage. And I'm like, yes.
I know, me too. Yes. Me too. I love it.
I'm like, I can now have conversations with, and people are like, you don't like the baby stages? I mean, babies were great. Elementary was great, but my jam is middle and high school.
Yep.
That's my, I love that age.
Teacher too. Yep.
Middle school teachers.
I did my first 6th grade book club today at Co-op, and I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so great. They were so
I love middle school. They're still kids in adult bodies. You know what I mean? But they're all that. Oh man, I could talk about it all day.
No, I could talk about it too.
Yeah.
That's another video. Okay, let's put that one down.
I have a video. That's what I'm talking about at the homeschool convention. The one that I'm actually talking at in Florida. Did I tell you that?
That's so cool.
I'm not the FPA. I'm talking at the homeschool. It's the one in Daytona. It's I should know the name off the top of my head. It's May 17th. But I'm talking about the middle school brain.
That's exciting. You're so good at that. That was my favorite video of yours.
Really? Ever. It's one of my favorites too.
I love that video.
I made 2. It's one of my favorites.
I love talking about that stuff. I'm a nerd about that too.
Yeah.
How many kiddos do you ladies have? Leilani has 4.
13, 2 boys, 13, 11. And then the girls she's 9 on Monday and then 6. And the 6-year-old has Down syndrome. Most people know that, but I'll tell you again. For the newbies, because they might be from your channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
She may not be from either of our channels.
Yeah.
Maybe she came from Anna. Just kidding, I don't know. Hi. I have 3 kids.
Oh, so she makes it for narration. I usually start with what your favorite part of the story was.
Perfect. Perfect. That's a great way to say
You're always listening. Yep. I use Abeka because it's working for my daughter, and I don't use the history math. Yeah,
Okay.
as long as my thing is,
Yes.
as long as it's working for you and meeting the goals that you've laid out
Yes.
for homeschooling.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right. Okay, here's Joy. Joy always has like insight. I love it. We need to remember, just like our life has seasons, so does our homeschooling journey. Sometimes our methods and curriculum have to change and or adapt with our kids' learning style.
Yes. Well said, Joy.
She will not come on with me, by the way. But she will comment, and I love it. Love
Yay.
it. I was the kid homeschooled on Abeka. I have a love-hate relationship with it. It did teach me a lot, but not in an enjoyable ways.
Mm-hmm.
The only part of it I use for my own kids is health and safety books.
Oh, I bet those would be good.
Yeah. And then I definitely agree with Joy. We have to change several curriculums throughout the year. And I want to connect more with my children, so I have started morning time. So slowly introducing more together time methods to unite us as a family. You're all great. Thanks for this. God bless.
Yay.
Yes. And
thanks for being here.
Do like all day times.
All day time. Yeah, you do. Ours, we have a specific time for that, but we like move it around depending on the day. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's at lunch, sometimes it's at night. So we just move it.
Well, they have me. I'm on a really strict. I told you that.
You are. Yes, I just watched your video on that.
Yep.
Is that right if we wrap it up? And
yeah, there's one more. Beautiful feed books. Well, so I guess the big question is Charlotte Mason method the best method for teaching biblical studies?
Oh, yes.
Your opinion? Do I share mine?
Yours?
You go first.
I go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're my guest.
Well, I think out of all the quotes we shared and everything, that she is one of the best. I don't think it means that you do biblical studies through another style. You can do it in any style, but I do like Charlotte Mason and her foundation in God's word and the living books and using living literature and then the nature study, just pointing us to God and our creator and being observing. So those are the reasons why I love Charlotte Mason and think it is definitely good for biblical homeschooling.
So I just think that it's good to glean from her information. That's what I would say. I think there's a lot of good things you can pull from it because I'm more eclectic.
Yes, I technically am too, if I'm honest. But I'm probably I'm 60 Charlotte Mason, but then everything else is. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that that's not their learning style too. So I think it always depends on the person and like Joyce said, where you are on your journey.
Yes.
So,
and I think
I do respect Charlotte Mason as an educator and a person. And I think she makes a lot of really good points that align with scripture because she was a Christian. Mm-hmm. So
I think what you're saying, which I agree with, is you don't need to necessarily put all of your stock into her.
Right.
Like we don't need to look at her as a goddess or as, like you were saying, putting her on a pedestal. So yes,
and people
I 100% agree with you on that. Like that we don't need to look for her as our Bible or as our God. So, but we can use her and model our life after what she's done or whatnot. So yeah. I think that's a good point there.
She's just really good to glean from. And but she's not, like you said, so I have this weird thing where I want to start a whole new philosophy of homeschooling.
I'm so excited for you. That's cool.
No, I want to label it biblical homeschooling. It's not a new thing.
Oh, and just leave it at that?
Yeah. Because we're so busy trying to find, I feel like in our society, because we're looking toward, we have a habit of looking towards man sometimes. We don't want to. So we're always looking for a man's interpretation. So why don't we just go to the source? Because a lot of people are like, what do you recommend for Bible studies? And I'm like, the Bible.
The Bible.
Yeah. But I know what they're trying to say, like what kind of commentaries we're going to learn from people, speakers, but I get that. And that's really important. But I don't think we need to really, that is number one, the go-to.
I love that.
That's my new
passion for that. I love it.
Philosophy. I want to start over homeschooling and just stick with that philosophy, that homeschool method.
So you know what? That sounds like when I was younger and super, not that I'm not passionate about the Lord and word now, I definitely still am. But when I was younger, I was like, when I'm a mom and I'm homeschooling, we're not going to have this and that. We're not going to have this toys and that toys. And then my friends are like, your kids are just going to have a Bible and a stick. I was like,
and the
yeah.
bubble, the invisible bubble.
Just picturing my kids, my 2-year-old sitting there with the Bible and a stick. And yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yes. Okay. Joy says,
Alrighty.
as my kids get older, I would set a time with them to discuss their goals, the ways for us to accomplish them together. We also would write them down and review what we did complete that year.
Oh yeah, what you completed.
Yeah.
What you did. Yes, that's good.
And then let them investigate their own education as they grow.
Yes.
And she's got really cool kids, by the way.
Cool. Thanks for
Just
sharing.
side note. I know her kids.
I don't know you, Joy, but thanks for commenting.
Biblical homeschool, Luke 2:52, model after how Jesus grew.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. So, okay, I know we're running out of time. Well, we kind of passed time.
I need to get to bed. I've been up
You do?
early.
I always do this thing where like people can ask like really quick yes or no questions at the end, like coffee or tea, to like close and wrap it up.
Okay.
Or I don't know if anybody wants to throw things in there, but I'll just say coffee or tea.
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 Yes.
I always say coffee, even though I drink more. No, this is replacing my tea, my ginger tea.
Good.
Is now replacing everything because
I like coffee. Well, actually, I do choffee. It's
That's right. Can you say it more so Instagram will pick that up and start sending me that?
Choffee.
Sorry, that's a joke that we have.
It's not 100% decaf because it's cocoa beans, but it's not like coffee. It's not gonna do what coffee does to me. So I drink choffee now in the mornings.
I
can't have it at night. I had it before bed the other day. That was not a good idea. But it's like a chocolate like coffee sense, but like
now everybody watching this video, let's hope Instagram picks up those words and start sending you advertisement for choffee. They haven't done it yet to me. I'm so sad. They need to have a ad campaign or whatever.
They haven't done it to you yet?
No. But I get everything else from Instagram. It's like they're listening. This is so good. This is my recipe. It's not mine. I got it from somebody. But it's freshly squeezed lemons, ginger that I boiled in water, beet crystals, like a tablespoon of beet crystals, and then cayenne pepper.
Beet crystals.
Beet crystals. So good. And the cayenne spices it up so it's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's waiting. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for us? Silly questions. None. No silly questions.
They might have all left, Leilani. It's getting late.
Yeah, but there's people and I'm looking at them. You can't see the numbers.
We're Eastern time zone though. There's probably people popping on from Pacific time and they're like, it's 7:00 over here.
It's not late. I know you go to bed early. I'm up till 2 a.m.
I do. I know.
All right. Nobody has questions.
You're insane.
So. I know I am. I can't sleep. It's not that I can't sleep. I can sleep just fine, like once I get to sleep. But yeah.
Are we gonna do it?
I get 5
therapy
hours
session now.
Yeah, I know I need help. That's why we were like, how do you do it all? I'm like, I get 5 hours sleep a night.
I know. I was like, I know how Leilani does it all.
Yeah, it's a joke. We have a lot of inside jokes that we shared with the audience today.
We did.
So next time.
Beautiful feet books. Somebody said beautiful feet books. I love beautiful feet books. All right. Anyway, I don't see any questions popping up.
Yeah, people don't have any. Someone retracted a message and I missed it.
Oh, bummer.
Darn. I started listening to brown noise. That gets me to sleep.
I listened to that too.
Okay, so I guess what we need to do now, since you didn't answer my questions,
we're going to come on again.
Yeah, this time we have to bring Summer.
Sounds good.
I think I was texting her, and she said we'll do it. We got to talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
And the retreat apparently now has to happen because I talked about it.
Yay!
And They also told me that was, I have to ask Andrew Poodlewa to come on my channel because that was my post. And I put myself in that corner because I really want to ask him, but I'm totally terrified to. I have a list of people I need to ask. Ashley has seen it. So if you have any suggestions for me, I've already got one semi-booked. They said he's going to come on. Jason.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to come on, but I don't know when. He won't. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I got to talk to the peoples. Anyway, so that's write me a list. Send me people who I should have on here that you know of. And if you know anybody who wants me to come on their podcast, tell them. I'm so addicted to this live format. It's so much fun.
Yeah, this is fun.
I told you.
It's a lot of fun. I need to do more. Can we just do this every Tuesday night?
No, it's fun, right?
This is great.
Oh, so much fun. Okay, so we answered that question. What's the best time of day to do math? We didn't answer that one. I do it in the mornings right off the back. And then Charlotte Mason Math was Life of Fred, right?
Yeah.
Oh, now we got questions. Favorite book genre? Sci-fi. If for enjoyment. Other than sci-fi,
I like fantasy or mystery, like murder mystery.
Yeah. For nonfiction book genres.
For nonfiction, oh my gosh, I eat everything up. I prefer like productivity books, like how to manage your time better. I like those books.
As you read the book.
Yeah.
Is it a small?
I like those books. And then I also like what is it? Apologetic type stuff. So
that's what I was gonna say.
Jen Wilkin, I've been really enjoying. That's Bible study, but Jen Wilkin and Elisa Childers, I've been really big into her lately. Felicia Masonheimer, yeah, these are all newer ladies.
I'm always reading the men. You're reading the women.
You're reading the men. I read the women. Yeah,
I read all the men.
I read the men productivity books,
like James White
or theology, like not Kevin D. Young. Theology stuff. I can't think. Anyway.
What book are you reading right now?
4 genres.
I'm adding a question. What book do you read? What book are you reading right now?
Ooh, I am reading No More Perfect Kids. I can't remember who wrote it. I'm listening to No More Perfect Kids. And then I'm listening to, there's something else. Oh, the Bible. I'm trying to read the Bible in 60 days.
Good.
And
I did that last year.
Yeah, you did really good with that. I did not do as well. So I'm doing it again. I'm trying. Take 2. I'm in Ezekiel right now, so we're getting there.
That's a hard one to get through.
I'm trying to get to the New Testament, and then I'll be like, all right, here we go. So we're getting there. I'm learning a lot.
Isaiah was tough.
What? Isaiah?
Isaiah's tough to go through.
Oh my gosh, it was. Yeah, I made it through it. I made it through Isaiah.
And Ezekiel. Ezekiel's a little more fun.
Yeah, it's got really cool like imagery, and he's like doing all this. Yeah, it's cool.
Look, they're all sharing. She's reading this. SPD Child Has Fun. They're sharing too.
Oh, there. Cool.
I'm reading right now The Transforming Power of the Gospel by Jerry Bridges. Told you, I'm reading guidebooks. And then I'm going to start Weapons of Mass Instruction by John Taylor Gatto. You know that one, don't you?
I don't. That just sounds cool. You should send it to me.
Weapons of Mass Instruction, a school teacher's journey through the dark world.
Ooh.
That's because I'm writing my book. I'm doing research.
I'm not going to say that sounds like your book.
It does sound like.
I did a lot of research.
It sounds like the book that I'm writing. John Taylor Gatto's Weapons of Mass Instruction focuses on mechanisms of traditional education which cripple imagination, discourage critical thinking, and create a false view of learning as a byproduct of rote memorization drills.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really intense. Good.
So that's what I'm reading.
I read a few books for my
We're going to start
book
reading
too.
Once I get it in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Board games. Look at that. Favorite board games.
What have we been playing a lot lately?
Settlers of Catan.
Nice.
And Uno.
Okay, nice. I like Wingspan. Or what else do we? I have to go look at my board games over there. I can't.
We've been playing Azul a lot.
Oh, I like that one.
Do you?
That one's fun. Yes, I like that
Azul.
one.
There's some blue colors.
I've been playing Exploding Kittens with the kids every night this week. Is it my favorite board game? Well, it's a card game, I guess, but not really. But yeah, I'll play it with the kids. I've been like, what is the one I played with Josh a lot? He just got a bunch of new ones that we enjoyed. I can't remember. Anyway, sorry. My brain starts to shut down.
That's okay. I need to get you to sleep.
I need to get back to reading adult books and not read aloud.
Dude, I went through that phase.
Yeah.
I should talk like my middle schoolers. Bruh. Do your kids do that?
Bruh. Not yet.
Bruh. I do that. They go, bruh. And I'm like, bro. And they're like, Mom, it's not bro. It's bruh. Like, okay. Like,
I say dude.
Dude.
I say dude to my boys. Dude. But that's
me
a
bruh.
total 90s thing.
Yeah. They come home
I
with
just do all the 90s slang.
Yeah.
Not. Psych.
We should show our kids Wayne's World.
Sorry, no, don't show your kids Wayne's World.
No, you're right. Uno and Spot It. No, they will never say that. No, they will never say that. I have all girls. Oh, gotcha.
Oh, bruh.
Bruh. Anyway, I should let you go, and we have to do this again. I know that I also have to do some Q&As because portfolios are coming up for Florida, and I know everyone's going to have lots of questions. So that's another thing. So we got to plan this. I got portfolios. I've got a summit next week. I'm staying really busy, even though the summit
Leilani.
I'm just sharing everything. So keep subscribed to my channel. Subscribe to Ashley's channel for lots of Charlotte Mason stuff. Wait,
and
here we go.
And other stuff too on my channel, but yeah.
There you go. There's Ashley's channel. So head over, type it in the box and check it out. Subscribe and let her know that you came from this talk. So she knows. And so she'll come back and not snub me. Or ghost me. I like snubs better. I like, don't snub me.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Leilani.
Thank you for coming. This is so much fun.
You have a good night.
All right, you too. Good night, everybody. All right, bye.